Welcome to tonight's panel discussion on immigration, a vital topic that influences economies, cultures, and ethical frameworks. Our four panelists bring unique perspectives. Ellie advocates for immigration's cultural and economic benefits. Minjae raises concerns about healthcare restraint. Claire highlights vulnerabilities in the immigration system leading to human trafficking. And Sewan critiques anti-immigration sentiments from a philosophical standpoint. Let's begin with Ellie. Ellie, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Immigration is more than an economic necessity. It's a lifeline for cultural renewal and demographic sustainability. Let's start with the numbers. The Pew Research Center found that immigrants accounted for 75% of U.S. labor force growth since 2010. As birth rates decline in many developed countries, immigration becomes essential to fill critical gaps in industries like healthcare, technology, and agriculture. Without immigrants, these sectors face severe workforce shortages, directly impacting economic productivity. But it's not just about numbers, it's about dynamism. Immigrants bring diverse perspectives and ideas. According to the National Foundation for American Policy, 55% of billion-dollar U.S. startups were founded by immigrants. These innovators drive not just growth, but also global competitiveness. Culturally, immigration enriches societies. In communities across the world, immigrant families preserve their heritage while embracing new norms, creating vibrant and multicultural environments. This dynamic fosters innovation and mutual understanding. Critics often argue that immigrants strain resources, but they overlook a crucial fact. Immigrants also contribute billions to public services. For example, the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy found that undocumented immigrants alone pay $11.7 billion in state and local taxes in 2020. Restricting immigration isn't just morally questionable, it's economically short-sighted. We need to embrace immigration as a cornerstone of progress.
Ellie, you highlight the benefits, but let's address the costs first. Immigration, particularly when poorly managed, can strain critical systems like healthcare. Take US as an example. The Kaiser Family Foundation reports that the states with high immigration populations face urban emergency rooms, leading to longer wait times and diminished quality of care for everyone, including citizens. And plus, even documented immigrants often lack sufficient insurance, leading hospitals to absorb the cost themselves. This forces facilities to cut services or even completely close themselves. The American Hospital Association revealed that 1/3 of U.S. hospitals are facing financial instability, partially due to increased demand from uninsured or underinsured populations, many of whom are immigrants. This isn't just an economic issue, it is also a matter of public safety and health as well. And plus, Ellie mentioned tax contributions, but let's be clear here. Immigrant households, on average, consume more in government benefits than they pay in taxes. The Heritage Foundation estimates that this gap is around $6,234 per immigrant household annually. This shortfall undermines the very system meant to protect the public. Furthermore, uncontrolled immigration disrupts social cohesion. Local communities must bear the brunt of overcrowded schools and hospitals and other infrastructures as well. Before we expand immigration, we need to prioritize fixing those infrastructures that support both immigrants and citizens alike. Otherwise, we risk collapsing the very system that we're trying to protect here.
Minjae, your concerns about infrastructure strain are valid, but they pale in comparison to the ethical implications of poorly regulated immigration systems. These systems are rife with vulnerabilities that traffickers exploit. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime highlights how traffickers use legal pathways, work visas, asylum claims, and family reunification programs to smuggle victims under the guise of legitimate migration. Once in a host country, these individuals often face exploitations in industries like agriculture, domestic work, and even sex trafficking. This is not a hypothetical problem. The Migration Policy Institute found that overwhelmed immigration systems fail to adequately vet applicants, leaving both immigrants and host communities at risk. Host nations are not equipped to handle the fallout. With limited resources for law enforcement, housing, and healthcare, traffickers operate with near impunity. This isn't just a failure of policy, it's a moral failure. Strengthening immigration controls is not about rejecting immigrants, it's about protecting them and ensuring that those who enter do so safely and legally. Moreover, host communities often experience economic and social strains due to these failures. Resources end diverted to managing crisis rather than fostering integration. If we want immigration to work for everyone, we need stricter oversight and better resource allocation. Ignoring these issues doesn't just harm the host country, it perpetuates cycles of exploitations and vulnerability.
I appreciate the practicality of these solutions by that they dismiss the larger philosophical implications of immigration debates. Anti-immigration sentiment, whether it's about healthcare strain or trafficking, often reflects what Deleuze and Guattari describe as a fixation on static territories. Borders are artificial constructs designed to control movement and hoard resources. Humans have always migrated historically. It's intrinsic to our nature. More troubling is the reduction of immigrants to scapegoats, or what Slavoj Žižek calls the object of desire. Immigrants become a symbol of societal frustrations, blamed for economic or infrastructural failures. They're in fact systematic in origin. For instance, blaming immigrants for healthcare crisis ignores the fact that the US system is already broken due to inefficiency and profit-driven motives. Immigration merely exposes these weaknesses. Furthermore, anti-immigration arguments often lack a long-term vision. By restricting movements, nations not only deny humanitarian obligations, but also stifle innovation and cross-cultural exchange. Economic concerns, as valid as they are, should not overshadow the ethical imperative to treat migration as a fundamental human right. The real challenge in immigration is inequality. Until we address global disparities in wealth and resources, people will continue to migrate out of necessity. Instead of building walls, we should focus on creating equitable systems that benefit everyone, migrants and citizens alike.
Injay, your argument ignores the ripple effect of immigrant contributions. Immigrants don't just use services, they drive economic growth, which benefits everyone. Tax revenue and consumer demand from immigrant communities sustain local economies.
That growth, like I said, is offset by a strain put on the public services by the immigrants. Until we fix those systems, any benefits that immigrants bring us are undermined by the cost they impose on us.
In addition, Ali, you also overlook how overwhelmed systems increase vulnerability. When resources are stretched thin, traffickers exploit gaps in oversight, harming both immigrants and host communities.
Clearly, you focus on immediate problems without questioning their root causes. Healthcare strain and trafficking stem from systemic failures, not immigration itself. Let's address those systems rather than scapegoating migrants.
Claire, tackling trafficking is essential, but stricter immigration controls often harm legitimate migrants seeking safety. We need smarter policies, not broader restrictions.
Thank you to all our panelists for a lively and insightful discussion. Immigration remains a complex and multi-faced issue, touching on economics, ethical, and philosophical dimensions. Your perspectives highlight the importance of informed policymaking that balances opportunity, safety, and systemic reform. Thank you for watching, and good night.